Blake after a successful 3 days in Tinseltown, taking 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. And the Rockies are off to a flying start at Coors Field. Behind Carlos Gonzalez and company, the Rockies are 9-3 at 20th and Blake. And tonight, they welcome in the Tampa Bay Rays. Interleague play begins. The perennial contenders in the American League East, led by Evan Longoria. It's the Rockies and Rays next on Root Sports. Welcome back to Denver. Interleague play begins for the Colorado Rockies tonight, and it will take them throughout the season now with 15 teams in both the American League and National League. And the Rockies, for the 5th time in their history, will hook up with Joe Maddon's Tampa Bay Rays. Welcome upstairs, everybody, with my partner, George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Glad, as always, that you are along. The Rockies took 2 of 3 in L.A. They continue to swing the bats. They continue to lead the National League West. And tonight, they'll take a look at the Tampa Bay Rays for the first time in 4 years.
And a team that has struggled, obviously, with their bats. And they still have the big pitching. You're going to see a guy tonight with more that can really throw the baseball. But 4-11 out on the road. They've struggled there. 2-4 in this current homestand on this road trip. And also, they got blistered pretty good up in Kansas City. The Royals playing much better baseball now. 5+ innings in every game. They do that. The bullpen, though, has been a little bit shaky at times. And I think the other side of this is with their ball club, Drew, they're not used to being 7.5 back. This is a team year in and year out that contends, and a surprising Boston Red Sox team is playing very good baseball right now. So on the flip side of that, when you start to struggle, they can widen that margin quickly.
Yeah, typically, as you talked about, when you think of the Tampa Bay Rays, it begins with their starting pitching. Matt Moore will be on the hill for them tonight, and he is off to a tremendous start. More on him in a little bit. When we come back, we'll talk about Carlos Gonzalez. He got the ship righted in Los Angeles. Boy, did he ever. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. He's always smiling, and he ought to be after the series he had in L.A. He tore up the Dodgers as the Rockies won 2 of 3 in L.A. And when Cargo is swinging it like this, look out.
Well, a lot of fun it is for everybody to watch. Gonzalez, one of those guys that can hit one of those spells a little rough, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you see this, 545, and tearing the cover off the baseball to all parts of the field, going into right center field for the home run in that series against the Dodgers. And all it does is just compliment everybody else in the lineup, because you look down this lineup right now, and everybody that's playing consistently is all above 300. They all got a bunch of RBIs, and Tulowitzki isn't even in the lineup tonight. But there's guys in this lineup that can really do a lot of damage, and they're going to have a tough test tonight. There's no question about it. And left on left, but that doesn't seem to ever affect Gonzalez.
You know what we need to mention again, and we've talked a lot about him lately, the bullpen has been nothing short of sensational over the last couple of weeks. Look at the run they're on. Well, 30 and 2/3 without giving up an earned run. Are you kidding me?
Exactly, and it's from top to bottom, too. It's been the long guys. It's the guys coming in after the starters and bridging that out to the brothers, to the Belisles, the Lopez's, and being able to handle baseball off to Betancourt with a lead to finish off ball games. It's been a complete bullpen, and it's been used very well by Walt Weiss, where he has those 3 guys he's not afraid to go to early in ball games. And when he does go to those guys and they carry it over to those back end of the bullpen, it reminds me an awful lot of those Padre bullpens, the Dodger bullpens of winning teams, that when this game gets to the 6th and the Rockies have a lead, Katie bar the door, it's over.
Jeff Francis tonight for the Rockies and Matt Moore for the Tampa Bay Rays. Baseball is next. Rockies and Rays, come on back to Coors Field with us. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pretty night at Coors Field as Jeff Francis jogs to the mound. It'll be his 6th start of the year. And leading off for the Tampa Bay Rays is a kid who can fly. Typically the guy who leads off has good speed, George.
Yes,
I've told
they
you that
do.
before.
Yeah, they do. You told me that one time. I keep trying to remember.
Desmond Jennings, and he'll be followed in Joe Madden's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. By a guy the Rockies know well, Ryan Roberts, several years with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good all-around player, versatile player in Ben Zobrist will bat third. Evan Longoria is a big star. You know his name. Sean Rodriguez will be at first. Kelly Johnson also played with Arizona. Yunel Escobar, Jose Lobaton will catch and bat eighth in front of Matt Moore. And we are set for baseball. First pitch from Jeff right there. Strike one on Desmond Jennings.
And expect their offense to let Jeff settle, kind of settle into a ball game. A record of 1-2. He's had 21 innings pitched this year. And for Jeff, it's the command of the fastball along with his changeup. I think those are the first two things that come to mind when he has success. His first and last start, 11 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs. The 3 in between was blistered a bit. He looks to rectify that tonight.
And that's in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, we know
look at what Jeff likes to utilize.
Well, he wants to get ahead with the fastball. Then he'll go to the curveball, which can average anywhere from 63 to 69 miles an hour. Then he backs it up with a very good changeup.
There's the curveball, and it's on the ground. Nice pickup, Nolan Arenado. 1 out. And let's take a look at the Rockies' defense. Brought to you by Excel Energy. And in the outfield, the Rockies will have Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, Michael Kadire. Johnny Herrera's getting the start at short. Troy, who played on Wednesday and swung the bat great, 2 for 4. Just overall body soreness is what Walt Weiss was describing it as, so he's being given the night off. And again, the defense brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more.
I like the fact Arenado, his first ball game at Coors Field, first ball hit right at him. That was good. Get that one out of the way. I'm going to get a feel for it all I can in pregame workouts, but it's not the same coming off the bat of a hitter, and Arenado handled that very nicely.
Ryan Roberts at the plate, hitting .230 with a couple of home runs. Roberts not the biggest guy in the league, but remember back to his days in Arizona, he's got some pretty good pop. Well, Arenado will get another chance. And he's got it across to Jordan Pacheco. A couple of 5-3s in the book.
1 shy of the world record. He could tie it.
Love when records are set. Here's the weather tonight. Temperature at first pitch 57 degrees. Supposed to get into the 30s later on. Hopefully the game will be long over and the Rockies will be shaking hands before it dips below 40. Ben Zobrist will step in, playing right field tonight. Product of Dallas Baptist University. We've mentioned that school in the past. It's turned out it's pretty good players. Here's the 0-1. And that's fouled off. In fact, for a period of time at Dallas Baptist, he was coached by a good friend of ours, Mike Bard. His brother Josh had a terrific big league career, long big league career.
Yeah, the Bard brothers have done a nice job in the community now, building up with the youth baseball to try to carry on some of their philosophies and thoughts of making them even that much better.
Down the right field line, Jordan's going to give it a look, but he's going to have to jog back without the baseball. 2-strike count on Zobrist.
And you know, with Jeff Francis too, I know folks, as his team starts to win and he struggled a little bit in those middle, you got to remember what this young man's done in a Rockies uniform as far as wins. He's second all time with 62 wins behind Aaron Cook. And I think that's to me, in golf terms, he gets a mulligan on some of the starts that don't go his way. You allow that to happen again and keep giving him the baseball because he's a very intelligent young man, a guy that can figure things out. Aaron Cook, by the way, last night, 6 innings, 5 hits and a run. He struck out 5 and walked 1 in a AAA start last night.
In all ground ball outs.
10 ground ball outs in the ball game. Good for Aaron Cook.
And the Rockies, in case you missed it, just signed Roy Oswalt to a minor league deal.
A win-win situation. A guy that's won 169 ball games and lost 96. If he could show anything close to what he has been in the past, obviously it's a nice addition.
2-2 count as Walt Weiss looks on. Zobrist again wastes a pitch. And here's the update on the move the Rockies made. Signing Roy Oswalt, 35, to the minor league deal. .328 career ERA, 3 times an All-Star. And foul tip held by Willeen Rosario. Beautiful start for Jeff Francis. 1, 2, 3. And we'll see the Rockies on offense when we come back. First of 3, and Dexter Fowler is going to lead things off for the Rockies tonight. That has been a good thing. 303 average. He's been on base at a 41% clip. Among the league leaders in numerous offensive categories. Southwest batting order tonight for Walt Weiss. Jordan Pacheco will bat behind Dexter. Then Cargo will bat third. With Tulowitzki sitting this one out, Kadire will slide into the 4th spot. Rosario will bat 5th. Nolan Arenado, Josh Rutledge, Johnny Herrera, and then Jeff Francis against hard-throwing Matt Moore, 23-year-old. Spent his high school years, Georgia, New Mexico.
Yeah, 088 whip. I mean, that's just off the charts. 38 strikeouts, 32 innings, 5-0 record. At home, he's 2-0, 064 out on the road, 3-0, 150. Lefties have hit just 200 against him. And amazingly, right-handers have hit 075 against him.
Now his numbers are ridiculous.
Well, here's another.
He's 5-0.
Here's one of the things I always look at with starting pitchers: retiring leadoff men. All right, how often does he do it? 82% of the time, he retires the leadoff man, which leads all of major leagues. Well, he's going to utilize the fastball nearly 64% of the time. A very good slider, slash type curveball. I mean, it's almost like a slurve, and he does use the changeup. This is a very, very good young pitcher.
But here's the thing: the one area where hopefully you feel like he can get after more. George, he throws a lot of pitches because he works behind in the count quite a bit. He's that old term, effectively wild. Effectively wild,
and he'll try to get you to chase pitches up out of the strike zone. That's where you have to be very disciplined. And I was told a stat earlier today that Tampa leads the major leagues in getting to 1-2 counts faster than anybody. But the Rockies on the other side of that, their lineup will test Joe Madden and his pitching staff, because they like to work counts, particularly at Coors Field, to get the pitcher's pitch count up and then get into that bullpen.
2-2 on Dex. This is where that curveball shows up a lot of times. And it's 3-2. Well, since 1921, lowest opponent average by pitchers winning their first 5 starts. Only Bob Turley with the 55 Yankees had a lower batting average against through 5 starts. And a base hit for Dexter Fowler. Boy, that's a great at bat for Dexter. And just, again, amazingly, the 14th hit he's allowed all year. Tonight's defense for Tampa is brought to you by Excel Energy. Make the choices that fit your life, and Excel will provide you the energy to power it. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more.
You mentioned the 13 hits given up. He's only allowed 28 base runners in 32 innings. So that leadoff single is really good for Dexter Fowler. This offense will put pressure on you in a hurry.
This defense, George, just to finish that thought, has been very good. They've made only 10 errors. Inside on Pacheco. And now with that base hit, by the way, Dexter, an 11-game hitting streak. Well, these two guys know each other very well, Jordan Pacheco and Matt Moore. And that's pulled toward the hole. Escobar just got it out of his glove in time to get the force on Dex. Finish that thought on Pacheco and Moore. They're both from Albuquerque. Actually, Moore was born in Florida when he was 11. Moved to Okinawa, his father in the military, and lived there for 4 years, and then moved to the town Moriarty, of about 30 miles outside of Albuquerque. And those two guys became friends because Jordan played with his older brother at the University of New Mexico. And in fact, as the story goes, Jordan tries to downplay this, but he showed him how to grip a curveball when he was about 14 years of age. Should never have done that, George.
He's got a pretty good
idea.
Yeah, what are you doing helping him out? Didn't realize that, you know, about 10 years later, 12 years later, you're going to be facing each other in a big league baseball. You know, I think that's the kind of unique thing about baseball with as many travel teams today is how many guys you play against, and you go, we played at East Cobb against each other. We played at Cooperstown against each other.
Isn't that wild? And Cargo pops this one up left side. Longoria and Escobar, and it'll be Escobar.
Now more look at Mr. Moore. What he brings to the table. There's that snapdragon everybody talking about. That hook to the outer half of the plate gets you to chase the changeup. And he has an explosive fastball and not afraid to ride it in on left-handers. And when he wants to get after somebody for the punch out, typically he'll go after that back foot slider or curveball to right-handed hitters.
Here's Michael Kadire. No Rocky has ever faced Moore. Last year he went 11-11 through just under 180 innings for Tampa. And this ball's hit to deep center field. Jennings misjudging, still going back, looking up. Get on out of here! Michael Kadire with a 2-run jack against Matt Moore.
And his ERA was 113, and he forgot until he came to Coors Field against a very powerful lineup. I watched the flight of the ball, Drew, but I also looked down at Michael Kadire, because as a hitter, when they catch one, they will tell you what's happened. And with 2 outs, you're going to see him take off out of this box and look at it. He knows that ball's out of the ballpark because that's not the way he runs with a 2-out fly ball. He's running the ball out every time. If he thought that was a fly ball out, trust me, he would be at second base about right now. He knew he got it.
That's a great description, because that's the only time you'll see Michael Kadire jog. Inside on Rosario. Now Matt Moore, welcome to the 2013 Colorado Rockies. They can flat swing it. 6 home runs now for Kadire, 22 driven in.
Let's take another look at this swing on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mode 2. Boy, you talk about squaring something up. I mean, you could not take a video a better swing than what you just looked at from Kadire. A mid-thigh fastball, he just dead center field.
1-1 on Wallin. Boy, this is a great view of it. The beautiful thing about it, George, is no matter what camera angle we show you, the ball ends up out of the ballpark.
It ends on the other side of the fence.
And that's rifled down the left field line. Extra bases for Willeen Rosario. Kelly Johnson having to play chase, and it's a 2-out double. Remember, folks, Moore in 5 starts had given up 13 hits. The Rockies have a single, double, and 2-run home run against them with 2 outs in the first.
And this is an off-speed pitch, a changeup, something that had given Rosario problems, and now this young man is really shifting the weight to the backside, slight toe tap, and then just explode the bat through the zone. He's going to hook it down into that corner, and here's another youngster, Nolan Arenado, runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
We've learned about Nolan not only from his time in the minor leagues, watching him a little bit there, but in spring training and now up in the big leagues. He's very aggressive, and there he is. He fired at the first pitch. He's probably, George, not going to walk a ton, but he has great hand-eye coordination. He has a gorgeous swing. Ball's going to be in play a lot.
It is going to be in play a lot. And when I watched him at Tulsa a year ago, when he scuffled in July, it wasn't like he was striking out. There was a lot of line drives hit right at people. 1-hop ground balls at shortstop. Then all of a sudden those found the hole, and he hit .385 for the last month of the season.
Arenado ground ball to short. Escobar's got it. And that's all for the Rockies in the first, but it was a very productive first inning. Michael Kadire in the middle of things once again. 2-run home run for Kadire, and the Rockies off to a fast start. They're 15-6 when they hit a home run. Top of the second inning. Tonight's sideline report is brought to you by the Honey Smoked Fish Company. Secrets in the fire. It's a ready-to-eat superfood. And here is Mark Stout. Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Guys, it's going well. Fan Friday again. Hashtag Fan Friday at @RootSports_RM. Get your questions in. The first of the night from @Blake Street Babe. When was the first interleague game? June 12th, 1997, a Friday night. It was the Giants at Texas, and the Giants won it 4-3. The first DH for a National League team was Glenn Allen Hill, now the Sky Sox manager. The Rockies also played that night at Seattle. They lost 12-11. By the way, the first DH for the Rockies in the dugout, Dante Bichette, 3 for 5 in that game, which was a loss. So get your questions in for the night as we do Fan Friday. Drew, George?
Good deal, good information, Mark. We appreciate it. Back at Coors Field, Dante's got the skull cap going again.
Yeah, he's thinking, you know, this is not a lot of hair on this head. I'm going to stay warm.
1-1 on Evan Longoria. And Longoria rolls one to third. Arenado's been busy. And he got down on the bag, did Jordan Pacheco. One out in the second inning, and that'll bring up Sean Rodriguez. Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6, and get your Rockies taco special. So Sean Rodriguez will step in against Jeff Francis. Curveball for a strike. That was a pretty breaking ball at 68 miles an hour. Well, Dante's got the skull cap on, but it was Tampa that was snowed out yesterday in Kansas City. In fact, they played 4 innings, and then the snow, became ridiculous. Joe Madden and his club had to wait another couple hours, and they finally banged the game. Swung on and missed. It was the first time they had measurable snow in Kansas City, George, a town you know well, since 1907 in May.
Well, let me tell you something. I started laughing a little bit because I was down at Keith Schultz's office today, and Chris Westmoreland was there, and he is their equipment man, home equipment man, had been there for a long time. As a matter of fact, Bill Guyvette, when he was sent over to went to Tampa from Montreal, he brought Chris with him, and he's been there ever since in Tampa. But Chris goes, man, you wouldn't believe that snow yesterday. It was unbelievable. I said, son, let me help you out here. We played a doubleheader. It was 19. We played another one. It was 24 degrees. And our owner and the entire front office was out shoveling snow for 5 hours to play baseball.
Twice. Here's Johnny Herrera coming to get the baseball on the move. Good play, Johnny. Well, let's get you further familiar with the Tampa Bay Rays. Joe Madden, one of the most charismatic, bright, personable managers in baseball, has George Hendrick at first base. Jim Hickey's his pitching coach. There's George. I'll show you the rest of that group right after this pitch. That's on the corner. Dave Martinez, the bench coach. Derek Shelton's a hitting coach. Tom Foley's at third. Stan Borowski is the bullpen coach. You know who's their mental skills coach? Greg Riddick, who still lives in, good to see Greg, UNC ties. Greg's in Longmont still, and he flies in periodically to work with Tampa.
Well, you know who their hangout coach is, don't you?
Don Zimmer.
Don Zimmer. He hangs out at home only. He's the hangout coach.
The hangout coach. I like that.
Yeah.
1-2 on Kelly Johnson. Rockies have the shift on against the former Blue Jay and Diamondback. Kelly's got plenty of pop. Here's the 2-2, and that's hit to left field. Long run for Cargo, and it is a foul ball.
Yeah, correct call too. They look down at third base line. Gary Darling, the crew chief of the staff, looking down the line on the fly to the ball. And you say to him, why doesn't an umpire run out a little farther so he could see the play clear? As you start to run as an umpire, just like a player, your eyes are jiggling. And he's following the flight of that ball, looking to see it land, and he was looking right down that line. That is some great camera work. That ball is fouled, and just fouled. They want to keep their eyes as steady as they can on that play to get it correct. No, it did.
Nick to Jersey, evidently. So Kelly Johnson hit by a 2-2 pitch, and that'll bring up Yunel Escobar with 2 gone.
Well, something Jeff rarely does is come inside with the fastball. So obviously when he started to stride, he couldn't get out of the way of everything. And guys today with a little bigger size jerseys than what you typically see, I still didn't see where it got him, but obviously it did.
Outside ball 1 on Escobar. Ground ball to short, easy play for Johnny Herrera. Flips over to Josh Rutledge, and another strong inning from Jeff Francis. Middle of 2, Rockies leading 2-0 on the Kadire home run. Josh Rutledge, Johnny Herrera, and Jeff Francis to face Matt Moore. Well, the Rockies and Rays have met a few times over the years. The Rockies are 7-2 all-time at Coors Field against the Rays. They've only played one series at the Trop. That was back in 2004, and they lost all 3 ball games. Typically, when these two teams get together, there's a lot of runs. Matt Moore ready to go. Here's Josh Rutledge. Josh had a big ball game on Wednesday in LA, George. He had 3 hits. The one time LA got him out, it was on a rocket to the wall almost in center field.
Well, we all know and have seen him swing the bat. He started the season struggling a little bit, but then you start to get aggressive. You chase pitchers out of the zone. We've also seen a lot of those, what you're talking about, rockets to the wall. They get caught. And that's a way of evening out, and obviously it did in that ball game.
That's 3-0. Rutledge 6 for his last 13 at the plate. And this ball's hit well to right center field. It's got a chance to get on out, and it will. Josh Rutledge taking more deep. His 4th big fly of the year, make it 3-0 Rockies. Right now, Matt Moore saying, "Didn't you guys read my resume?"
Yeah, read your resume and read what I've done this year. No home runs, not hardly any hits given up. Just 13 prior to this start. He's given up 4 already in just 1 inning of work. And 3 runs. Mike Shaw, Subaru, boy, what a stay behind this. See, that's what people don't realize a lot about Rutledge, is his ability with his power to drive the baseball to all fields. Now look at his size. Now watch weight shift back. Once it shifts and it starts to come forward, everything working off this stiff front side. What a picturesque swing on that. That's nice.
And how about this, George? That's the first hit that Matt Moore is allowed to anybody hitting either 6th, 7th, or 8th in the order
Dougie,
this year.
I'm glad you brought that up because Dougie talked to me a little bit about that before the ball game, and now to look at those numbers put out like that, is that not crazy? 0 for 32 coming into this.
And
nuts.
Arenado was hitting 6. He made it out, so it was 0 for 33, and then Rutledge goes deep.
Never get tired of watching this.
0-2 on Jeff.
Better get rid of it. He's got wheels.
He just didn't want to show him off there.
Not early.
2 outs. That'll bring up Dexter Fowler, who singled his first time. Rockies fans, all year long during Toyota Talk, we will field questions. But on Friday, we're going to do a little poll. So Ask the Booth will return tomorrow. First time texters, by the way, automatic winners will receive a one-day free day pass to the Denver Zoo, courtesy of your neighborhood Toyota stores. Text Toyota followed by your question ordinarily to set. Well, actually, it's not question day. Text in what team you'd like to see the most in the American League since it's interleague play. So text Toyota followed by your answer to 720-720. Dexter with that base hit, line shot to left last inning, now riding an 11-game hitting streak. Hitting .400 during that stretch. Here's the 2-1, way inside, 3-1. I don't know what Manny Machado of Baltimore's done tonight. He had an 11-game hitting streak entering play today. That was the longest in baseball. You see, that's why we have him on the graphic. And Baltimore, well, you know what, George? He doesn't have a hit yet.
No, but maybe later.
Perhaps.
They're just now taking batting practice, and those hits don't count.
There are some days players wish they did count.
Yeah. A lot of days, not some, a lot.
Yep. Well, I enjoy interleague play, George. It's neat to see teams you don't see frequently. There's the 3-2 and ball 4. Dexter on for the second time, and that will allow Jordan Pacheco to face his old friend Matt Moore.
Coors Field, a place to be next Tuesday through Thursday. The Yankees will come to town to take on your Rockies. Time's running out to get tickets, so don't delay. Get yours today. You can go online at Rockies.com, or you can pick up the phone and dial it 303 Rockies. Yankees tickets next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Sean Rodriguez had to reach up and grab that.
With a left-hander on the mound and a right-hander at the plate and a little bit of a shadow, the first baseman's playing 3 to 4 feet off of the bag. Bobby Valentine, the first to implement that when he was managing the New York Mets. It was something he felt like kept the range off when you had a hard-throwing left-hander on the mound and a right-handed hitter, that he could get off the bag quicker. And if they want to pick the first, it's just a step back and tag. And as the pitcher looks at the first base, he's really kind of aiming right for where the umpire is standing, directly behind first base.
2-0 on Pacheco. Jordan 8 for 21 on that road trip through Arizona and Los Angeles. 381 average. And it's 3-0 on Pacheco.
3-ball counts, Drew, and you mentioned at the start of the telecast how Moore at times can elevate his pitch count. Well, 4 3-ball counts, and there's 2 outs in the second. 36 pitches total. 19 strikes on the day, 18 balls.
Matt Moore went to Moriarty High School in New Mexico, and in that Albuquerque area, it's a well-known high school. Kyle Blanks went there as well.
Not a big outfielder with the San Diego Padres.
3-1 and a big cut from Pacheco. He's looking to take his old friend deep. 3-2. So Dex will be off with the pitch. Rockies ahead 3-0 here in inning number 2. First matchup with Tampa since 2009. And a line drive that's going to be caught by Roberts. The Rockies get another run. This time it's Josh Rutledge going deep over the right center field wall. And Colorado leading Matt Moore and the Rays 3-0 through 2 frames at Coors Field.
Balls have put him there, and Jeff Francis has not given up a hit yet. He has been able to command the strike zone very well, and he's utilized, Drew, as we've seen a lot of times. About 12 to 14% of the time he will use the changeup. Now what I want to show you is you can see with De La Rosa how it is a closed circle change, and with Jeff Francis it's an open circle change. And with Jeff Francis changeup, because of it being open the way that it is, a lot of times what you see from Jeff is that the ball will turn and almost look like a screwball or a curveball at times to right-handers.
Tough chance, Arenado on the backhand, and it'll be an infield hit for the catcher, Jose Lobaton.
You know, and Drew, a lot of guys, you know, they'll throw the circle change and they'll hold the ball here with the 2 seams and put their hands on top and do this. Jeff benefits by not doing that and allowing the ball, when he comes through, you'll see the wrist pronate to the inside. That's when you see that big fade that he throws. Then you'll see the wrist come through in this action, and you and I'll go, that's a slider. No, it's a changeup, because we'll see the grip on the Mike Shaw Subaru. You'll be able to see that. And so when you're able to do that with the ball and this feel and touch from both sides, and Jeff does a good job of that, but it's all about touch of the baseball in your hand and how it feels, particularly with guys with real big hands. And Jeff's got big hands, that it's difficult at times to grip a circle change and put that finger and the thumb together and still have command of the baseball.
Moore wasn't bunting on the first delivery, and he's not bunting here, and it's hit on the ground to Pacheco, and he's going to take the out at first base, so it works as a sacrifice. Jordan thought about firing a short. Pretty good jump by Lobaton, and it wasn't hit that hard, so 1 out.
Early in the ball game, no reason to take a gamble. Take the out. And whenever Pacheco got a hold of the ball, he's like, nope, I don't have a clear shot, and I'm not sure that I could get the runner when I threw this ball down. Johnny's looking up, and almost as look, Johnny might have gone in this direction, like get the out at first.
Desmond Jennings hit it on the ground to third, his first time up. And he hits it on the ground again to Arenado. What a pickup by Nolan.
Yeah, like a vacuum over there. I mean, he's got great range both sides.
You know, George, when you have a guy that doesn't throw that hard and you're on the pull side, I mean, you always want to be ready, but you got to figure, hey, I'm going to get some action.
And you're going to get a lot of quick action, and meaning the ball's going to get on you in a hurry. Nolan, about 4 steps behind the bag, is able to pick this baseball and make it look really easy, and it was not that easy of a play.
He has been as celebrated in the minor leagues in terms of scouts reviewing him for his defense as much as his offense, and he is exceptionally well thought of offensively. Gives you an idea what they think of his defense.
Yeah, offensively, 122 RBIs in the Cal League, backed it up as MVP of the Arizona Fall League. And the defense, you talked about it. It was very good in the Cal League, which sometimes the fields aren't very good. And it was very, very good in the Fall League. And in the Fall League, it's like playing in a parking lot at times because it's so hot in Arizona. The dirt area is so hard.
And that's foul. Coors Field, top of the third. Lobaton at second base with 2 outs. France is trying to get Ryan Roberts. A 1-1 count on the veteran out of Texas Arlington. Good job scooping that up by Willeen Rosario.
And I think one of the biggest differences for Rosario this year and compared to last year, he's got a lot of guys on the mound throwing the baseball where he calls it to be thrown. So obviously that helps your catching ability when you have guys firing strikes. You call for a curveball down and in, you can anticipate down and in, you can block the baseball.
This ball driven right center field, and it's a gapper. So Roberts will drive in Lobaton with a double, and it's 3-1. 5th RBI for Ryan Roberts.
See, that's not a bad pitch. It's a fastball away, maybe just a little bit elevated. And Roberts, who typically will pull the ball to the left side of the infield, takes that ball to the opposite field. So you're putting it on the outer part of the plate and trying to get him to try to hook the baseball to Arenado or to Johnny Herrera.
Ben Zobrist struck out his first time. And this ball in the air to left center field. Now going back is Cargo, still going back, and it's off the wall. It'll be back-to-back doubles. And it's 3-2. Zobrist leads Tampa in ribbies. That's his 21st.
Trying to bury a fastball on the inner half. Just a good hitter. I mean, he just cleared that front side, turned on it. Cargo didn't think it was hit this well, got out there to the baseball, but played it off the wall perfectly and able to make that snap throw in. I think the word's out about Gonzalez's arm. If you hit a ball off the wall and you're thinking about 2, you better go.
You'd think after a couple of gold gloves they'd have known for a while. Evan Longoria. He had a ground ball to third his first time. All of a sudden, with 2 outs, 2 runs in, and the tying run at second. Paul Emmel's behind home plate, thought that was outside, so it's 2-0. Just off the Ford strike zone.
43 pitches for Francis. 26 of those have been strikes.
Auto glass damage, call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Longoria, Long Beach State product, overlapped 1 year with Troy Tulowitzki. They were the left side of the diamond for Long Beach State. Longoria playing third, Troy, of course, playing short. That was in 2005. And they remain good friends. In fact, the last couple of years with the Rockies moving from Tucson to North Scottsdale. Tampa naturally trains in spring training in Florida. Troy Tulowitzki has used Longoria's main home, if you will, his year-round home. He's lived in it during spring training. 3-2. I was kidding Evan. I said, "You anything broken?" He said, "I don't know. I haven't been back yet. Because I'll have to do inventory in October." That's pretty neat when you have that kind of relationship.
Yeah, second year in a row he's been able to do that. Yes, last year Giambi lived with Tulowitzki. They had kind of the Long Beach State thing going.
Good pitch. So Francis able to get Longoria with a runner in scoring position. Roberts and Zobrist double in runs, and Tampa Bay closes to within a run. It's 3-2 Colorado as we go to the bottom of the third.
Fan Friday. You can get us some questions at @RootSports_RM. This question actually comes from Tom Wood, who's sitting a couple of sections over. Frazier, I want you to kind of clarify what you can do on the hill when you go to your mouth, because he initially asked me, he said, if you go to your mouth, is it an automatic ball? And if you do that 4 times, could you intentionally walk a guy? Can you clarify all that?
Well, Mark, you're asking the right guy, because when it comes to especially foreign objects and the baseball.
That's not true. I never used a foreign object.
Well, that's right.
Everything I used was made right here in the United States.
Did
see?
I put that on a tee for you?
Yeah, see? You just, how nice was that?
Card goes up.
By the way, you can go to your mouth now as long as you're not in contact with the rubber. And once you go to the mouth and you do that, and whether you lick your fingers or not, you can't be in contact with the rubber. It is a ball if you're doing that, or a balk if somebody's on base. But you go to your mouth, you have to wipe it off on your pant leg or on a shirt or whatever. Well, obviously that's pretty easy to do too. You go to your mouth and then kind of double the knuckles up. It looks like you wiped off and you didn't. Not that I ever did that.
Never.
Not me.
We studied, scrutinized every piece of video we could find of you throwing during your long big league career. Never saw you do anything.
Never got caught.
No. Anything out of the ordinary. 2-strike count on Cargo. Rockies up 3-2. Bottom of inning number 3.
So, Frazier, the strange thing that he asked me and I didn't have an answer for was, could you theoretically have 4 balls that way and intentionally walk a guy if nobody's on base?
Well, if you want to stand on the rubber and lick your fingers, yeah, okay. I guess you could do it. But
and just a base hit to right center field. George, that was a product of Cargo having the ability. He has a longer swing, but the bat stays in the zone for a long time, and that hit there was a product of that.
Well, that's why when you see this knuckle curve right out of the hand on the Mike Shaw Subaru Superbo and then hang up, look how far his bat is outside of the home plate area. So not only is his coverage, the 18 inches width, extended out another 2 or 3 feet, and if the ball happens to get the inner half of the plate, he has the ability to get his hands and drive the baseball.
5th hit for the Rockies, outside on Kadire, ball 1. If you're looking for Tulowitzki to be hitting in the 4th spot, Troy had just overall body soreness, leg soreness, no pulls, no strains. So he's being given the day off. He took ground balls, took batting practice out on the field. And hopefully he'll be back in there tomorrow. Played again on Wednesday after that mild left shoulder strain, and Tulo had a great day, couple of hits, couple of RBIs. Got a 2-run double early in that game against LA. 1-1 on Kadire. Here's what Michael did his first time up.
And you know what? It was he told the story right out of the box when he hit it. I mean, that jog, it told you right then and there. If I didn't get it, it's off the top of the wall. I can tell you that right now. Fooled a little bit by that pitch. A changeup at 85 away, but it was good arm speed.
Haven't seen that pitch much.
Not hardly at all. And he uses it about 12% of the time. So as a hitter, you're thinking I can eliminate part of that and go just look for the fastball curveball.
2-2, nobody out. Cargo draws a throw. Cargo 4 for 4 in stolen base attempts. Been a 20-20 man, 20 stolen bases plus 20 home runs plus 3 straight years. And swung on and missed. So Moore again goes off speed. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Rosario. Rosario doubled his first time. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Check this out. Pitchers to begin 5-0 under the age of 24. Matt Moore's 23. Well, you have Fernando Valenzuela. He had a pretty good career. Babe Ruth, I remember him. Greg Swindell, Doc Gooden, Dontrell Willis, and now Matt Moore. As we say, George, that's pretty good company to be in.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, remember last week when it was snowing, it was cold, and everything was going on. We started to show all the crazy hats, right? And so I made the crazy comment on air, and I said, if you got a hat you'd like to see on air, send it to me. So last week I got the moose hat, remember that? And I got the other one from the comedian. And so there's all the fins and everything. This is the dead fish hat, and it was handmade by Kathy McKay from Walden, Colorado. Thank you.
That's
I
great.
love it.
Walden, that's not
what
too
do you think,
far.
Dougie?
That's not too far from
You
Steamboat.
wanted a ski hat? Hey, here it is. Right here. You got it. This not your kind of ski hat? Okay, I'll take it home. How you like that?
You haven't skied in a while, have you?
Once.
You went what?
One time.
You had a ski shop.
My wife did, and I went skiing
stuff.
one time. And when they went, what's that? Where they cross? That's not good.
That's not good.
I got them straight.
You got them straight.
And I learned really quick. If it doesn't have brakes, don't get on it. And they don't have brakes.
You on skis would be that would be something to watch.
It's not funny.
With that hat, with that hat on.
I'd wear the hat.
1-1 on Willeen.
So what do you think? You like the hat?
I like the hat.
I kind of like the hat. I went downstairs. Dave Schultz, go, you got another hat.
You know what?
I like it.
You sound like a Dr. Seuss book.
But here's the thing about it.
Do I like the hat?
Everybody,
I like the hat.
Everybody
Hat on
says,
the hat.
Frazier, keep asking for hats. I love hats. I love hats. So I get this hat today. Everybody like this hat? Nope, you can have that one. I'm like, this is a great hat.
You know what? Seriously,
it's a dead fish
really
hat.
like that hat. And if it gets a little chillier tonight, I'm going to steal that hat from you. That misses to Willeen. It's 2-2. Rosario slugging .612 so far this year. That's 4th in the National League. Justin Upton, who was the player of the month in the National League in April, leading at .693. And Rosario got significant consideration, as did Dexter Fowler, for that award. 3-2. Well, you put Cargo in motion here, George?
Well, I think you can. And the reason I say that is you got a catcher behind home plate that has only thrown out one guy in 11 attempts. So in Cargo, obviously very good speed. If he gets out there, that'd be his 5th stolen base. He hadn't been caught all year. And you got Arenado swinging the bat, who's been a run producer in his career.
That's a check on the running game. In other words, do they want another pick out of the dugout? That's why you saw Lobatone looking in the dugout. Cargo not going, and this ball is popped up in foul ground.
On the other side of not going is obviously you stay out of the double play, which that probably would have been a double play ball.
Time for the big hit presented by Mako, the company that repairs all kinds of hits. Let's return you to Dodger Stadium. A few nights ago, Nolan Arenado, friends, family, and mom in the front row looking on, and he went deep. His first 3 hits of his career, including that home run to center field. Check out your local Mako for collision repairs and auto painting for as low as $349. Visit Mako.com. Strike on Arenado. Rockies had yesterday off after the 7-3 victory at Dodger Stadium on Wednesday. One more footnote on that Dodger series. Last year the Rockies were 2-7 in LA. And they scored a grand total of 19 runs in those 9 games out at Dodger Stadium. In the 3 games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Rockies scored 21 runs. 2 more than they produced all of last year. And Arenado drives this to left field. This is going to take a hop and kiss off the wall. And Stu Cole's going to hold Cargo at third base. That ball was hit so hard by Arenado. Even Cargo was unable to score from first on it. Second and third with 2 outs. Nolan Arenado with his first career double.
And what I love about the swing is you're talking about it being an 0-2 count on breaking balls. They try to throw the cutter. And I want to see that swing again. Look at this on the mic shot. Look how close that elbow right here is to the body. Getting the hands on the inner half on an elevated fastball at 93, and he just shot it into that left field corner. Done a good job of hitting.
And here's Josh Rutledge, 7 for his last 13, including the home run to right center. last inning. Two ribbies out there for Rutt. High ball one.
Fastball that came into the inner half of the plate and almost an inside-out swing at 375 feet to put the Rockies up 3-0 at the time, and a big base hit here to drive in two would be huge.
And I'm thinking that Moore may pitch around Rutledge with the less dangerous Johnny Herrera on deck, and Johnny can swing it, but of course Rutledge, if you make a mistake, can leave the yard. 59 pitches already, George, which means getting closer to having Joe Madden to think about, an inning or so from now, thinking about bullpen options.
Well, that and the fact that now you're in the National League ballpark, so now you're looking, if this thing gets a base hit here, now all of a sudden you got a 5-2 ball game. His spot starts to roll back around again in the batting order too. You're thinking high pitch count is what effect will it have on Moore in his next start when they leave Coors Field.
Here's the 2-1. That's fouled back. 2-2. Rockies with at least 2 home runs now in a game for the 11th time this year. In other multi-home run games, they are 9-1. Michael Kadire, a 2-run home run early. And Rutledge last inning. 2-2 on Rutledge. Cargo and Arenado in scoring position.
When you throw the knuckle curve, you can really get a good look coming off of that finger. You're going to see it on Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. As this ball comes off, you push it with that index finger and you get a big bite on the baseball.
Slowly hit, and it was stabbed by Moore, and he throws out Rutledge, and if he doesn't get that baseball, it's going to be an infield hit the way Rutledge runs. 2 left on, 3-2 Colorado. On this week, go behind closed doors at Coors Field. See how Jeff Francis works out and prepares for his starts. It'll be interesting, followed by a trip to the diner with my partner, George Frazier, to talk his shop about life on and off the baseball field. Rockies real time, that's tonight after the game, right here on Root Sports. Let me guess, you took them to Sam's.
Absolutely, we're over Sam's. You bet. I was there this morning with Barb. Where were you? That was about 7:15, by the way.
I didn't get the invitation. Breaking ball, strike one on Sean Rodriguez. He hit a ground ball to short his first time up. Sean Rodriguez, a native of Miami. And that's in there. Rockies have been very good in interleague play until last year. They had a Good 4-year run on the ground to Arenado, and then they went 2-13 last year. 1 out as we check in again with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, guys, AT&T trivia for the night. It's Fan Friday. Some fans have asked about Roy Oswalt. They heard that the Rockies signed him to a minor league deal. And our question is about Oswalt. In 2001, runner-up in the Rookie of the Year voting in the National League. He was with the Astros. Who won it that year? Give that some thought. The answer's coming up. Drew, George?
That's a good question. Kelly Johnson allegedly grazed by a pitch his first time up. We had some video of that. Didn't look like he got touched. 1-1. Johnson's got 10 starts now out in left field. He's been primarily a second baseman. He has only 4 starts at second this year. Before the game, Joe Madden was saying, and Joe likes to manage games like he's a National League team. And what I mean by that, here's the 2-1. 3-1. What I mean by that is he'll utilize his whole bench. There are some American League teams where if you're the 24th, 25th guy, you may not play for a week or longer. And Joe, you know, with the lead, he said, I'll probably pull Kelly out and put Sam Fuld in late in the ball game. He'll pinch hit. He'll play righty-lefty matchups. He's your old teammate from the Boulder Collegians.
Yeah, with Baldy Muschetti as the owner and ran that team. Buzz Campbell was the pitching coach.
Pacheco feeds Francis. He got the bag. 2 outs.
That only works because Jeff, the minute the ball was hit, direct line to first base and then slowed down his body and started to have choppy steps. So you're under control because your main focus catch the baseball and then tag the bag. You know, a lot of times players get over there and they don't have their feet set. See those short choppy steps? I'm going to catch the baseball, find the bag, which Jeff did, and then he didn't know if he got it or not. He wanted to stomp at it one more time. Nice play. That's why you practice at PFP, pitchers fielding practice.
Ball hit right side, go immediately. Don't wait.
How many times have we seen, Drew, where it's hit to that right side and a guy would hesitate and it cost you a ball game? All just about fundamental baseball.
Yunel Escobar, former Atlanta Brave, Toronto Blue Jay, now playing for the Rays. He's behind 0-1.
Jeff's fastball 87 miles an hour with the last. He'll top out at 88, 89. He has hit 191 this year, but he's very comfortable 86 to 88 with movement, sink, occasional cut on the ball. 58 total pitches now in the ball game, 37 of those strikes.
Here's the 0-2. Curveball's down. Tampa got their 2 runs with 2 outs last inning. An infield hit by Lobaton, then a couple outs, and then back-to-back doubles by Roberts and Zobrist. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Strikeout number 3 for Jeff Francis. So we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Colorado 3 and the Rays 2. Pretty pitch.
bottom four. Let's get you the answer to the AT&T trivia question. A little bit of a buzz around here about Roy Oswalt. Rockies signed him to a minor league deal. The question is, in 2001, he was the Rookie of the Year runner-up when he went 14-3 for the Astros. You know why? The winner was Albert Pujols of St. Louis. 329, 37 homers, 130 ribbies in his rookie season. Yeah, that wins you the Rookie of the Year. Drew George, Oswalt, the signing yesterday, catch you by surprise? At least you don't raise an eyebrow?
Well, I know the Rockies were very much interested in Roy Oswalt a year ago, and he ended up signing with Texas. So, not a shock for you, George?
Not a shock at all. And when he did sign with Texas, he only made a couple of starts. They put him in the bullpen, not what he had thought that was going to happen for him. And, you know, I'm happy he's wearing a Rocky uniform. He's going to go down to extended from what I'm told. Make a few starts there to see how it all works, and then you know, he's obviously had a lot of success with 5 or more career starts at Coors Field, a 2.25 earned run average among visitors, and people have, you know, you see Franklin Morales' number there also among Rocky starters. So if it works, it's a great low risk, big time reward for the Rocky organization.
3-0 on Herrera.
Moore's 5 3-ball counts, 6, yeah. 7 3-ball counts. Wow. 4th inning, just starting out, and this is pitch number 67, and that's not close. A leadoff walk for Johnny. And it kind of tells you too how good his stuff is, because it's still 3-2. You know, you have 7 3-ball counts. You think you would have more than 6 hits and 3 runs in a ball game, and Joe Maddon's monitoring everything going on here now. You know, about throwing strikes, get the ball over the plate, and his stuff can be so nasty at times. I mean, you're 1 pitch out of a double play, get out of the inning, those type of things. You know, another part of the game in the American League, you don't see a lot of sacrifice bunts. Unless it's in the 8th or 9th inning of a ball game when you're tied, you got a leadoff single and your 8 or 9 hole hitters up.
Now 5 straight pitches out of the zone to begin the 4th inning. One of the things you notice about Walt Weiss, now this is an obvious sacrifice situation, but the Rockies, outside of when a pitcher's up there and it's 2-0, you're not going to see them bunting very much.
That's why I saw Jeff just a double take down at Stu Cole. The 1-run lead here. I mean, the obvious is to push him up, and then hopefully somebody after that will be able to drive the run in from second base.
Three and 0. Now you look down there and probably get the take sign. When you're spraying pitches, you don't get borderline strikes as you look at that forward strike zone. Ball 4. 2 on, and the Rockies have nobody out in the top of the order coming up, represented by Dexter Fowler. Where will you find your 3 numbers? Text pick 3 to 720-720 for your chance to win great prizes from Root Sports and the Colorado Lottery. During tonight's game, we'll randomly pick 1 winner. Don't forget to visit a Colorado Lottery retailer to play Pick 3, the new game from the Colorado Lottery, where 3 lucky numbers are all you need to win.
With the pitching staff, what they have, Cobb, Hellickson, I mean, they've got some guys that can do Neiman. They've got some different people that can throw the baseball and go deep into ball games. So they don't necessarily need what you call a prototypical long man in their bullpen. Well, they have a bunch of 1 or 2 inning guys, and you have 1 long guy designated when a guy's pitch count blows up, or you've got to go get him in the 2nd or 3rd inning. And Drew, that's why I said a lot of times with American League starters, you see them and you look at their line, they go, man, oh man, left him out there to get his rear end kicked. You know, 5 innings, 7 runs. It's because of their lack of bullpen strengths of being the deep man all the time.
Well, their starters have gone at least 5 innings in every game. And Dex lays down a bunt. And the throw to first is in time. A little confusion there between Rodriguez and Ryan Roberts, who is going to cover the bag.
But here's the other part of that. I'm not sure Rodriguez realized, okay, Dexter's running, but it's a normal sacrifice. He's just going to push it up the field. You know, he's not going to really come after me this hard. But you watch Dexter, he's getting after pretty good, those long strides. And then he sees Rodriguez is late getting over to the bag. I mean, Rodriguez is lucky he didn't get smoked.
Well, Rodriguez, with just his 7th start there this year, just the 12th of his career. So, you know, he's not exactly Derek Lee or Todd Helton over at first base. So 2 in scoring position for Pacheco. Jordan grounded into a fielder's choice and then lined to second. Matt Moore, like his older brother Bobby, was going to go to the University of New Mexico, but he signed as an 8th round pick at a high school. Pacheco hits it in the air down the right field line, and it's going to land on the warning track and foul ground. Dex doesn't, or excuse me, Johnny Herrera at third base looking to tag, and Jeff Francis at second base. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Two and two.
Right guy at the plate right now, .313 average with runners in scoring position.
Cargo on deck. Jennings pretty shallow in center field. And that's strike 3.
Seemed like a little bit of trouble, got him on the hook, and then all of a sudden comes up with one of the nastiest pitches of the game. Here's Pacheco to check his swing on a breaking ball down. Jordan trying to hold up on it. The home plate umpire, Himmel, rings him up.
Cargo base hit to right center his last time up. Also a pop to short. On the corner.
Rare back giddy up, here comes. 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but when elevated can seem up to 98.
Here's the 0-2. Near miss on the Ford strike zone. 81 pitches in the 4th inning. 2-2. It's always an adjustment for a pitcher unfamiliar with pitching at Coors Field to adjust when their second pitch is a curveball, George.
It is. I mean, because they'll throw some really good ones, and then you don't. What you want to do then is try to snap it off even harder. When you try to snap harder is when you usually jam it in the ground or you hang it.
And Moore able to strike out Gonzalez and Pacheco back to back. The Rockies leave 2 in scoring position. They're up 3-2 as we go to the 5th. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the all-new Ford Escape. The smarter way to get there. Ford Escape, go further. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. 3-2 Colorado as we go to the top of the 5th inning. 8-9-1 for Tampa Bay against Jeff Francis. Something must be up with Dexter Fowler because Eric Young Jr. is now in center field.
When he ran into first base, right when he hit the bag, it looked like a grimace on him. And I watch when he hits the bag right here, right when he runs into him. You can really see it on the head end shot right here. Watch when he hits and collides with him. Watch when he comes up. See him kind of grimace? Come up with a little bit of a limp, and he had that walking off the field. And this early in the season, you take no risk.
I can tell he's limping. We'll let you know as soon as we know. 2-1 on Lobaton. Jose Lobaton. And this is in the air to deep right center field. Kadire near the wall, has it go off the top of his glove. And Lobaton is at second base.
The guy was hitting 222, but he did have 2 home runs coming in. All seems to be carrying out into right center field. Kadire thought he had it right in the middle of the glove. EY hustling over behind him. It bounced off of that wall. EY was right there to get it. You can see on the Mike Shaw, watch how he gets up to this baseball. Hits right on the thumb of the glove versus down into the pocket a little deeper and just rolled out.
It'll be a double for Lobaton. Matt Moore with a 1-0 count. was in a situation with Lobaton at first and did not bunt. And he's swinging away here, and he pulls the baseball. So,
well, here's the deal.
Does the job.
You know what? Here's the deal. I think more than anything, these guys don't bunt very often, if any. And if they're a halfway decent athlete, could swing the bat a little bit. Matt's more, you know, okay, I have a guy that is a below average fastball on the mound. I'm going to let you go ahead and swing against it. And I know you're going to try to pull the baseball. And there's high fives all over the place down there. And that's exactly what he did.
Desmond Jennings with the infield in. This is our Toyota Talk inning. Pitch down low, ball one on Jennings. Jennings twice has hit the ball at Arenado. Two and 0. Yeah, the Angels are always entertaining to watch. The old Washington Senators in Coors Field. I don't know if that's possible. At the knees.
Oakland A's, I can understand that a little bit, the way they played Texas.
To me, what the most surprising thing about the A's is how well they've hit. 3-1.
Particularly in their ballpark.
They didn't have to hit a lot today. They threw up a donut in the Bronx, 2-0. The A's with that victory improved to 17-13. 3-1. And Jennings hits a fly ball to deep center field. Young going back, and it's gone. Two-run home run, Desmond Jennings, and Tampa has now moved on top of the Rockies 4-3. Rockies were enjoying a 3-0 lead a couple of innings ago. Home run number 4 for Jennings.
3-1 count, fastball out over the plate, although down in the strike zone. Jennings looks like a very good low ball hitter. I mean, he starts down low with that crouch and he stands, and it just a lot of hip rotation and bat speed, and drove it out just out of the reach. And man, what an effort by Ewing at center, climbing the wall trying to get it.
Ryan Roberts.
Another look at Eric Young Jr. just coming into the ball game. One glance at the wall, put the cleat in and go up. Nice effort, even though off by about a couple of feet. Still a great effort to try to get it.
It's the 5th home run allowed by Francis this year. Second most on the club. Nicasio's allowed 6. Eric Young Jr. in center field will have a play this time. And Roberts is retired. 2 outs in the 5th inning. That'll bring up Ben Zobrist. He had an RBI double back in the 3rd. Rockies got off to the fast start against Matt Moore, who came in with an ERA of 1.13, and the opposition hitting 121 against him. Rockies got 2 runs and 3 hits in the 1st inning, including a 2-run home run from Kadire. They got a home run from Rutledge in the 2nd. But now they find themselves behind 4-3. This is the 3rd time in Jeff's career he's faced Tampa. The other 2 times when he was a member of the Royals.
12 innings thrown against them in that 2 ball games. He was 0-1.
A lot of people calling for the Yankees. They're coming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Or excuse me, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I should say. Rockies will actually play the Red Sox twice, home and away. Fouled off. Because there are now 15 teams in the American League with Houston going over, there's an interleague series every night of the year. Ball 4, Zobrist reaches with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Longoria. Here's the upcoming schedule. The Yankees in Tuesday through Thursday, and this is interleague schedule. Excuse me. The Astros. That's a strange one because the Astros will entertain the Rockies for 2 down in Houston. Then the very next day they'll all come back and the Rockies will entertain Houston. At Toronto, at Boston, at Baltimore, and then the Red Sox late in the year. Those Red Sox games or series are 2-game series as well. Jeff's 82 pitches in, with Longoria at the plate. Be careful here.
Little conference with Wallene and Jeff. You take away let's get your thought process off maybe the frustration of that home run in left center field. Come right back now. Let's make a pitch and get out of this deal. You got Longoria up, who you struck out in his last at bat back in the 3rd inning with 2 men on, or 1 man on, excuse me, at second base.
Two and 1 count on Longoria. 4-3 Tampa Bay on the 2-run home run by Desmond Jennings. To short. Middle of 5, 4-3 Rays. Just look back. First inning with Matt Moore on the hill, Michael Kadire a man aboard, and he goes deep to dead central. 6th home run of the year, and the Rockies were off to a 2-0 start. Second inning, Josh Rutledge leading off, 3-2 pitch, and he goes deep to right center. Rockies enjoyed a 3-0 lead. It was 3-2 when Desmond Jennings hit a 2-run home run last inning, and now Tampa Bay, despite that great effort by Eric Young, leading 4-3. Matt Moore in the 5th inning will face Michael Kadire, Willeen Rosario, and Nolan Arenado. Curveball, high and away, ball 1. Kadire, the home run and a strikeout.
I'll go ahead and throw another ball. You've had about 8 of those. 3-ball counts today. 85 pitches, 45 strikes, 40 balls for Matt Moore.
Three and 0. We saw that to the first 2 hitters last inning. Johnny Herrera walked on 4 pitches. Jeff Francis walked on 4 pitches. Unfortunately, the Rockies could not take advantage. Dyer taking the whole way. It's 3-1. He went changeup, 3-1. He misses, and the leadoff man is on once again here in the 5th. It's 3 walks. Check it, 4 walks allowed by Moore.
9 of 22 first pitch strikes. I mean, if you don't have great stuff, this ball game could have been a blowout against him. Been able to get a lot of outs when he needed to, particularly those couple of big strikeouts in his previous inning with the runners on.
And Rosario bounces it foul.
Don't forget about the lunch cooler bag coming up. The first 15,000 on May 8th against the Yankees. They're going to receive it. King Soopers sponsoring it. Tickets are still available for all the Yankees games, but they are going fast. So to get some decent seats, pick up the phone and dial 303 Rockies or go to Rockies.com and order your tickets today. Well, he's flirting with danger. Every single leadoff man has gotten on base. Only Rutledge, the solo home run, but every single guy getting out on the base passes to lead off an inning.
One ball, 2 strikes. Mentioned that Tampa was snowed out in Kansas City yesterday. Heard from a friend today that there was 47.6 inches of snow in Denver in the month of April, and a little bit more in the month of May already. How about that? This ball is bounced to third. Longoria waits, and that's all he'll get is Kadire at second. Here's how you ensure that it's going to be trouble for the second baseman to turn 2.
Clean play, too. Came right in, your legs up, try to hook him a little bit, try to disrupt it. Roberts not going to be able to get a good throw off if he went over to the inside part of the bag, which he did. Kadire didn't get him, but he did do enough disruption there to keep the double play being turned.
Arenado ripped a double to deep left his last time up. 2-0 Rockies start getting action in their bullpen with one of their long guys.
It looked like Ottavino's the guy up throwing.
This ball's driven to deep left center field by Arenado. It's over everybody's head. Willie Rosario is going to get a green light from Stu Cole, and he will score easily. Nolan Arenado ties it up with a 400-foot double.
Well, Nolan playing the doubles machine that he can play. And he got one right here, boy. He turned on a ball. Second one, the first double down the left field line. This one, a low fastball. Dropped the head of the bat on it on a Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mo. You could see it. Boy, concentration, head stayed down. Drove this ball into left center field. And if not for the deepest part of the ballpark, the Rockies would be ahead and not tied right now.
Rutledge at the plate, home run and a comebacker. 4-4 ball game. First two doubles of Nolan Arenado's career.
Well, with these big gaps at Coors Field, I guarantee you he's got a few more to tack on to it.
This is blooped down the line, and that's a great play by Rodriguez. And now tagging up's Arenado, and he's going to get to third. Pretty heady move there by Arenado.
Well, recognizing how close, and that's the key, how close this first baseman is to the wall. He's got to slide. Now he's got to pop up and then throw a strike to third base. Arenado able to advance, and you say, well, why take the gamble? Well, Johnny Herrera up infield, slow roller. You get a base hit, pass ball. Number of things can happen. A balk to get this run across, the go-ahead run across.
Joe Madden, seeing that the Rockies have a man up in the bullpen's not buying that Jeff Francis is in the on-deck circle, so he will not pass on Johnny Herrera, his first base open, and Johnny shortened up, did not offer, so it's 1-0. Joe Madden, very bright guy. He is an American League manager that really looks forward to managing in National League parks.
He likes all the different matchups. Who do I use off of my bench? When do I use it? His bench fairly strong tonight with a lot of left-handers.
1-1. Boy, Joe went on and on, George, about his days in Boulder when he was playing with you for the Collegians.
He won a national title, so there was a lot of handshaking going on after a lot of baseball games there, and I think that probably played a big role in everybody being happy and in a great mood. Went on to win the national title in 1975 at the Wichita, Kansas.
The NBC, National Baseball Congress. Yep. He got signed after that tournament.
Then decided to be a manager in the minor leagues for a while. Then went to work, worked his way up through the system to be a long-time bench coach for Mike Scioscia before getting the opportunity to manage.
This ball in the air to right field. Zobrist is there, will make the catch. Nolan Arenado ties up the baseball game with a long double to left center field. It's 4-4 as we go to the sixth.
On a Fan Friday, hashtag Fan Friday, at Root Sports _RM, taking your questions. This one from B Greaser 22. And guys, it's sort of about the options a player has. We always get this question when there are moves up and down from the Springs or other affiliates, and also DFA'd. If you could explain all that, I think the fans would appreciate it tonight.
Well, I'm not sure we have enough time to do all that, but we'll try to do the best we can. 4 options, you can only use 1 a year. So you get put on a major league roster. All the guys sent down this year, say Josh Sullivan, Joe Gardner, those guys used an option. Nolan Arenado has not used an option yet because he wasn't on the roster when he was sent down. Being designated for, it's kind of a 10-day period, folks, what it amounts to. Well, this is one of those, I'm not sure anybody wants it. Heads up, Mr. Mumford, you're there in that row. Is that you have 10 days to either trade them, claimed on waivers, and if none of those things happen, you can release them, or you can assign them to their AAA roster if it's their first time being designated. As if that answers your question. 9 appearances for Ottavino. He's been outstanding. Of course, the whole bullpen has been.
Oh, and 2 on Sean Rodriguez. Word on Dexter Fowler is right hip flexor soreness. Right hip flexor soreness. That's why he was removed from the game.
So their hip right there is where he gets popped on the end of that hip, and I think that's, you know, kind of just, you can see it moved him, what, 3-4 feet.
Sliders outside, 2-2. Francis goes 5 innings, 86 pitches. He gives up 4 runs on 5 hits. He walked 1, struck out 3. Got him on a slider, down and away. So Sean Rodriguez, a strikeout victim. That'll bring up Kelly Johnson.
Well, something Ottavino has done along with the rest of the bullpen, wipe out slider. In the last 8 ball games, 31 innings pitched now, 3 runs, 0 earned, just 15 hits. The opposition has hit 142. They've struck out 33 and only walked 8. Outstanding.
It's really a remarkable run. Rockies have a unique composition to their bullpen. Last year they got a lot of national attention using a hybrid system in the second half, 4-man rotation, 75 pitch limit roughly. Well, the Rockies, through all of their studies with the frequency of pitcher injuries and reduced performance after about 500 innings for starters that have been with the organization and pitching at the big league level for a few years, feel like they'll keep their pitchers freshest, their starting pitchers freshest, not only during the first part of the season, but also later in the year, if they're not running pitch counts up to 105, 108, that sort of thing, and get it guys out maybe an inning early and have 3 guys who are prepared to work multiple innings, 2-3 innings, guys. And right now it's Adam Ottavino, it's Josh Outman, and it's Edgmar Escalona in that role.
And then everybody else the back end of the bullpen. And, you know, right now, most of those guys are going 2 innings at a time. You'd like to see them stretch to 3. When you got a 7-2 ball game, they come in to pitch the 6th, you're winning. You know, you'd like for them to maybe go out and throw the 6th, 7th, and 8th to lessen a little burden off those other guys down there.
And so far, based on that graphic we just showed you, it's worked out well. I mean, 30 2/3 without allowing a run, an earned run. 1 out, 3-2 on Kelly Johnson. Ground ball, foul. Are you the ultimate Rockies fan in the state of Utah? Show us why you're the ultimate fan by taking a picture through Instagram or Twitter and tagging it with a RootFanUT hashtag. For official rules, visit facebook.com/RootSportsRN. In the air to shallow right, and Cuddy will get there. Two outs, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Yunel Escobar.
We'll get to the ballpark early Sunday, as it's the first 20,000 will receive a 20th anniversary Vinny Castilla bobblehead. Here it is again. Dougie, you got to put this in the collection. Put the bat in there. How cool is that, huh? Don't break it. Just put it in there. You're on TV again, Dougie. Stop. Move. Move. You're going to get in trouble. The Vinny Castilla bobblehead, courtesy of Wells Fargo. So the first 20,000 this Sunday. Not going to make the play. Tough play. Ball right back up the middle. Anyway, you're going to get a Vinny Castilla bobblehead. See, that's why they call it a bobblehead. I don't know if you knew that.
I had no idea.
See, it's bobbing, so it's a bobblehead.
Wow, you learn something new
and
every day.
The bat kind of just hangs over to the side, and you can put it in there. Cuz went deep on that one. I can tell you, yep, Cuz went way around. That's right. Oh, you broke the bat. George, you broke the bat. Not really, I got it.
Right now it's comedian Vinny Castilla.
Well, you know, that's part of the I think with the Latin players in this ball club and the American players both know the history of Vinny Castilla.
Center field pretty well hit. EY playing deep will make the catch on Lobaton.
So remember now, we got the first 20,000 coming through on Sunday. Get a Vinny Castilla bobblehead a couple of weeks ago. That's it. Bobble, bobble, bobble. The other was EY.
Thank you again for texting in your thoughts during Toyota Talk in the fifth inning. For more answers to your questions, if you have any, visit the Root Sports Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM, where Hall of Famer Tracy Ringlesby will answer a bonus Toyota Talk question before the conclusion of the game. There he is with one of our producers, Tavis Strand. And the big handsome's in the game for Matt Moore. So Moore goes 5 innings, and he's done. And Jamie Wright, the former Rocky back in the mid-90s, is aboard. This is the 10th club for Jamie Wright.
Well, 8 straight years in a row that he's gone to camp without a major league contract and made the team. I mean, that's really phenomenal for me. 14 seasons at the major league level. This is his 13th appearance. It's all been good so far. Still doesn't strike out a lot, but boy, he will get some ground balls. Heavy, heavy sinker.
Strike one. Jamie. Teammates with Walt, Dante, and they were all visiting before the game, and I was chatting with those guys afterward. And I said, how about Jamie still going? And Walt said, you know, I had to do a double take. He said, I forgot that Jamie's, because I'm going over the scouting reports earlier today. And he said, wait a second, Jamie Wright.
Well, the thing about that is, you know, here Jamie Wright's still pitching. He was a young kid at the end of Walt's career. He's still pitching, and Walt's managing a baseball team now. I mean, it's a little bit of a strange combination there.
Adam Ottavino, and then the top of the order, Eric Young will have his first at bat coming up.
Jamie had one of the better, it still does, better moves for a right-hander with a runner on first base to pick someone off.
You know, it's not like Jamie's 43. Jamie's 38. I told him, I said, listen, when you get to 15 clubs, then shut it down. Got 5 more to go. It's a big bouncing ball to first. Sean Rodriguez has it, 1 out. Jamie Wright, native from Oklahoma. Your state, George.
Yeah, back living there again. Midwest City, a #1 draft pick. Had very good slider, always had the heavy sinker. Jamie never really here assumed the type of success people thought he would. And then he went to Milwaukee and won 14 games one year. And all of a sudden things kind of took off. Then they tailspinned a little bit for him. And ever since then, he's been working in the bullpen for the last 7, 8 years with different clubs. The perfect guy to come in here and buy you up a couple of innings. Today, he will work 1 inning.
Eric Young Jr. in the ball game an inning ago for Dexter Fowler, who had an awkward arrival at first base on a bunt play and has soreness in his right hip flexor. 0-2. Matt Moore goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs, 7 hits. He walked 4, struck out 3, and threw 101 pitches. And coming into the ball game, Moore had allowed only 13 hits, so the Rockies get 7 against him. That was 13 in 5 games. Strikeout of EY. 2 outs.
Way up on top of this breaking ball. It used to be sinker slider. Now it's sinker slider cutter for Wright. He placed that curveball beautifully, but on an 0-2 count took advantage of that a little bit.
Rockies have had multiple base runners in every inning. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Pacheco, and a line shot that's caught in the air by Escobar. First 1-2-3 inning of the night, and we move on to inning number 7. Rockies 4 and the Rays 4.
L. Bollinger. And it's a question, Drew and George, about the umpires and their schedules and kind of how they work here during this series. And if you know more about how they get scheduled, I'm sure that L. Bollinger would want to know that here on Fan Friday.
Umpire scheduling is done by the office, obviously. And I think now they get 6 weeks off vacation. And they take advantage of that. I mean, they're on the road constantly. Paul Emmel, Clint Fagan, Bruce Streckman, and Gary Darling, the umpires here at Coors Field tonight. But they're constantly on the road. The more you're in the league, obviously, you find the golf courses in the morning you like to play, the different restaurants you like to eat.
James Loney's pinch hitting for Jamie Wright. Loney, the former Dodger, has enjoyed coming to Coors Field through the years.
He's off to a pretty good start with their ball club.
Yeah, he really is. He's hit .524 his last 14 ball games, 22 for 42. Ottavino's 2-0, and it's back up the middle. Johnny's there. Can he throw him out? Yep. Nice play, Johnny Herrera. That'll bring up Desmond Jennings. That's another former Rocky, and Jamie Wright was out in the bullpen. Just saw him on the field. That's Joel Peralta, who was with the Rockies 2007. And the bunt jumped on by Rosario and fires a strike to Pacheco. Great job by Willeen. Jennings can really run. 2 outs.
A lot of things you can't try on the young man. One of them is bunt. Very quick from getting out behind the dish and then firing a bullet, a strike to first base. Nice play all the way around.
Ryan Roberts, a ground ball to third, an RBI double to right center, and a fly ball to center field. Rays have been good at the Trop. They've been very poor out on the road. 4-11. Their worst start out on the road in quite some time. They've given up some leads too. In fact, they had a 5-run lead in Kansas City a couple days ago, twice, 5-0 and 6-1. And they ended up losing the ball game. It was on Wednesday, and it was the largest lead they'd given up in 2 years, actually to the day. In the first 2011, they gave up a 5-run lead. Auto glass damage, Safe Flat Auto Glass, America's vehicle glass experts. 303-287-5000, safelight.com. Swung on and missed. Great inning for Ottavino. Stretch time at Coors Field. The Rockies and Rays tied at 4. Cargo will lead it off. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Honey Smoked Fish Company. Secrets in the fire, it's a ready-to-eat superfood. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. Rockies and Rays 4 apiece. Different view of downtown Denver. Good to get vertigo. Joel Peralta on for the 13th time. He's been very good so far with the league hitting just 143.
Well, he's going to have that split. He's going to throw a sinker, slider, and he has to try to power the ball, which he could do that. With the Rockies started to get into some rhythm and have success. Carried over to the Rays. 10 strikeouts in 10 2/3 inning and a run average of 1.69.
A bunch of changes for Tampa. I told you that Joe Madden not afraid to use his bench. Ben Zobrist, very versatile. He's there's James Loney. Zobrist is now at second, Loney at first. Sean Rodriguez goes from first to right field. And Cargo takes strike one. So it's on the bullpens now. Matt Moore went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. Jeff Francis went 5 innings and gave up 4 runs.
When you have 2 right-handers going in this direction in your bottom of the 7th inning and you're swinging the bat with a lead, the way things have gone lately, probably Bly. If it stays tied, Lopez. And then obviously Betancourt if they could get that lead here in the bottom of the 7th.
2 strikes the count on Cargo. Got him on a splitter. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Rockies have hit a pair of home runs tonight in the 1st inning. Michael Kadire over the center field wall with a man aboard. And then the very next inning on a 3-2 pitch, Josh Rutledge drove it out to right center field. His 4th of the year. Kadire's was number 6. Michael at the plate right now. That was brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Peralta's found a home in Tampa. A couple of years ago, he saved 6 ball games, 71 appearances. Last year, a couple of saves. He made 70 plus appearances again. There's a split. He was with the Rockies, I said 07, actually in 09. 27 ball games.
Again, another strikeout. Nice pick and save behind the plate, the tag of Kadire. Really rocks back on the backside of his body to load up, and then you see those fingers split on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl, and just a huge dive on the baseball. And you know, you've got to remember that hand path has to come like you're going to pull the mask off of a catcher. And then pull it right through the center of his body, straight down between his legs and into the ground. And that's the arm path to throw a really good accomplished split finger.
Rosario with 3 home runs on the road trip. He has 5 of his 7 home runs out on the road. And it's a 1-2-3 7th inning for Peralta. After Wright worked a 1-2-3 6th inning. We move on. Tied at 4. Lights brought to you by the McDonald's new Premium McWrap. I'm loving it. First inning, Michael Kadire had a 2-run home run off Matt Moore, who was almost invincible until he came to Coors Field. He had a 5-0 record and a 1.13 ERA. Rockies got another run off him in the second inning. Leadoff home run, Josh Rutledge, who was 3-0 at that point. And then Tampa would catch and ultimately pass the Rockies on this 2-run home run from Desmond Jennings. That made it 4-3. Rockies tied it up on a long double off the bat of Nolan Arenado, well over 400 feet. And that brought home Willeen Rosario with the tying run.
How about the hat there? I like that one. The baby's head's not going to get cold at all. Mom's hoping to take a nap, kind of enjoy the back into this ball game.
Johnny Herrera was going to field the baseball, and I'm looking up, waiting for the runner, Zobrist, and he never moved. On the indication from Paul Emmett, went off his foot.
That's why a lot of these guys wear that plastic guard on their toes. I mean, that caught right off the end of the toes. See the discomfort he's in.
Wilton Lopez in the ball game now. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's got the thick portion of the order here. It's Zobrist, Longoria, Sean Rodriguez.
Well, high earned run average. That's from a couple of early ball games where he scuffled, and then since then he's gone back to that 2-seamer, starting to get some uneven swings on the bat, as he does here with Zobrist to get the out.
Arenado makes the catch, and that'll bring up Longoria.
Well, be sure to check out the Blue Moon Brewing Company at the Sandlot, now open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, subject to Rockies home games. Call 303 Rockies to find out more information.
Want to know on Longoria. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout for Longoria, all against Jeff Francis. Spun him around. He's 3-0. Good pitch.
The Rockies bullpen a year ago led all of Major League Baseball in innings pitched. And a lot of that had to do with the inefficiency of the young starters as they struggled to gain some ground at the big league level. This year they're tied for second in the National League and fifth in all of Major League Baseball. Houston leads it with 118 innings pitched out of their bullpen.
Matt Joyce is going to hit for Sean Rodriguez. Now, Matt Joyce has a ton of pop. A lot of lefties on that bench for Joe Madden. To right field, and it's going to drop in front of Kadire, who's playing very deep. And the throw to third's not going to get Longoria. So it's first and third and one out.
Big swing when you have that kind of power. And the outfield now playing to prevent any doubles. Joyce got a ball with that great big swing. Your first reaction is to jump back, but it came right off the end of the bat and lifted softly out in front of Michael Kadire. And then when he came up firing, I thought initially he might have a shot at Longoria, but where that throw's coming in, here's a strong throw from Kadire, a much underrated arm because he's got a good, very accurate arm.
6-game hitting streak now for Joyce. And you have Kelly Johnson at the plate from the left side, trying to turn 2 in a 4-4 game with 1 out. Johnson runs pretty well.
What's interesting, the Rockies infield playing tonight in this game, there's no one there with more than a year and a half of experience. A lot of young kids in that infield right now. And they had a meeting on the mound of how this will be played, what they will do. Corners are tight. They're going to throw the guy coming to home, obviously, in the middle deep to try to turn a double play and end an inning. Sinker baller on the mound. It's a good combination to try that.
It's 2-0. Big bouncing ball. Lopez can come home with that. Out at the plate. Rosario applies the tag on Longoria. 2 gone.
With a high hop, I'm not sure Longoria got a very quick start at third base. Here's the high chop. Lopez spins, throws a little bit of a high throw, but a good block of the plate by Rosario.
Yeah, Longoria never did get to the plate because of the block.
Yeah, watch the shin guard come out. It's going to catch right on the shin of Longoria and prevent anything from getting to the plate. Good setup, good job. I've had his legs up underneath of him. Wasn't going to move Rosario, and it ends up a very big out here in the 8th inning. Keep the score 4-4.
Joyce at second, Johnson at first. With 2 outs, it's Yunel Escobar. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Rockies. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Tampa Bay.
Escobar struggling with men in scoring position. Just a 136 average. With swings like that, you can see why. Trying to hit the ball a country mile. Right now, you just need solid contact if you're the Rays.
Give you more info on that, George. Against right-handed pitching, he's 6 for 54. Well, he actually had the infield hit against Ottavino, so make it 7 for 55.
It's not good.
But you got to get him here. Go ahead, run at second. Good block, Willian Rosario. He had the shift on that, George, about 5 feet.
All about anticipation. You know, I mean, that's the biggest thing. You're set up on the outside corner, but now you got to rotate out and pick the baseball. You got to watch that head too as you focus the ball into your mitt. Followed it all the way in.
Three and one. Switch hitting catcher Jose Lobaton. In the air to right field. Kadire should have room, and he will. Nice job. So a mild threat put down by Lopez. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 4. Of 2013. 4-4 affair. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. David Price, American League Cy Young winner a year ago against the veteran John Garland. That's tomorrow evening. We're on the air at 5:30 on Root Sports with the pregame show. Garland and Price. Price off to a un-Cy Young-like start.
Well, particularly at home where he's 0-2 with over a 6 ERA. That's not him.
In right field, Matt Joyce stays in the ballgame for Sean Rodriguez, who he hit for. Third right fielder for Tampa. And on the hill, a guy who throws gasoline, Jake McGee.
And it's going to come hard. You know, very high earned run average right now. And you say, well, why? Well, there's 7 walks, 13 hits given up. You know, he throws extremely hard, but you know, obviously they get a pretty good look at the baseball.
Nolan Arenado, Josh Rutledge, Johnny Herrera in the 8th inning. Nolan Arenado's had a big night after grounding out in his first at bat. It's a double to left. And then this double to left center would drive in Willeen Rosario to tie up the game at 4. And that's where we stand right now here in the bottom of the 8th inning. First 2 doubles of Arenado's career. This kid will run his fastball up to about 98, and he throws his heater about 90% of the time.
Well, just come right at you and get after you, and I think, you know, part of that is that's why guys can get after him at times. If you could time the heater. That's a pretty nice loose fluid 86-mile-an-hour cutter though on the hands of Arenado. Right up underneath the hands, looks like an elevated fastball, and it's just got enough dip to get under the bat of Nolan Arenado.
And it's funny how this game works, George. Matt Moore came into the ball game with the best numbers of any starting pitcher in baseball, probably not named Matt Harvey, and they were very similar numbers. In fact, you know, Moore 5-0, first pitcher this young to start 5-0. Since 1900 with 5 other guys that had great careers, guys like Valenzuela and Good. And the Rockies get 4 off of him in 5 innings. They haven't touched the bullpen. And the bullpen had an ERA over 5 coming in for Tampa.
Yeah, Moore's ERA now 1.95, according to Mr. Marino.
The Rockies 0 for 7 against Wright, Peralta, now McGee. 1-1 on Josh Rutledge. A home run back in the 2nd.
Follow the Rockies on your phone or iPad with the MLB.com @bat 13, featuring pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and a whole lot more. Go to Rockies.com if you'd like to learn more about that wonderful app. I've got it on my phone. Drew has it on his.
Two and two. Rockies 9-3 so far at Coors Field. That's off his foot.
That's why they wear that shin guard right up at the very front. Still stings a little bit, but not like it would if you didn't have that on.
Rockies on Sunday will throw Jolie Chassin. He'll come off the disabled list. Todd Helton also ready to go on Sunday. He's eligible to come off on Sunday. 95-mile-an-hour fastball outside, and it's a 3-2 count. And a base hit to center field. Stay hot, Josh Rutledge. Speed aboard with 1 out in the 8th inning. Rockies fans, Root Sports has launched an interactive second screen experience. It's called Game Control. You'll get live game stats, including play-by-play and all head-to-head stats. So if you feel like interacting, visit rootsports.com/Rocky Mountain and click on the game control banner to connect. Johnny Herrera getting the start as shortstop for Troy Tulowitzki, who's now in the on-deck circle. Troy with leg soreness, and it's a hit and run. Troy hopes to be back in the starting lineup tomorrow night. Right now he's thinking about a pinch hitting opportunity. Boy, he's been clutch so far this year. He has driven in a number of big runs. Tying runs, go-ahead runs. He may have an opportunity coming up here. Rutledge leads the team in steals with 5. And this ball driven in the gap in left center field. And Rutledge is going to go first to third. Johnny takes a wide turn. He'll head back to first. Johnny Herrera coming through. It's first and third, one out. And here comes Tulo.
And Tulowitzki getting his first pitch hit this year. Had been 0 for 6 prior to that in his career. And he's 1 for 2 on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mo. The Rockies giving you a chance here to win this baseball game. First and third now for the Rockies, and just 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Joe Maddon's going to go to his bullpen.
And because of Rutledge's wheels and where Herrera hit that baseball, you don't need to get a hit here. You need a fly ball.
That's all you need, because you do have that ability. I mean, that's all you need right now is a fly ball, not a home run. Yeah, maybe he's not making a move to the bullpen as much as how he wants them to pitch. And then place yourself defensively to turn 2.
Joe Maddon injects confidence in players. You see a little smile from McGee at the end, and almost as if to say, listen, this is still a ball game. This is not a world war here.
Telling your defense where you want guys to be set up, how we're going to pitch Troy Tulowitzki, and set it up defensively. And right now, I mean, there is a giant hole up the middle. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, this may be unconventional, moving another runner into scoring position, but Maddon wants no part of Tulowitzki. But here's the thing you run into, George. You have Eric Young on deck, who's virtually impossible to double up unless he hits a rocket at somebody.
Well, and you've got speed at third. You know, so now if ball's hit sharply somewhere, you're still going to have 2 outs, bases loaded, even if you have a play at the plate. This was not a move I anticipated. A, I thought when Joe went to the mound he'd make a move. B, I didn't think he'd tell him, all right, let's just walk the guy. We're not going to let him beat us. We're going to make Eric Young Jr. beat us, which he can do that.
So the bases are loaded with 1 out. Said it a bunch of times. Now the Rockies are going to run for Tulowitzki. Tyler Chatwood will run for Tulowitzki. But I've said it a bunch, George. You know this to be true. Obviously, you were a pitcher, but when you intentionally pass the guy in front as Gomes is working, and you're the guy they want, you say, okay, you want me?
Absolutely. Fire you up. Make you want to win this game even more. But it's also a time where you have to keep your nerves in check with what you're trying to accomplish, and that's just hit a deep enough fly ball. The outfield extremely shallow for the bottom of the 8th inning, even with EYO. We've seen the power before, but they are very shallow here.
And you have good speed on base. Rutledge, most importantly, at third, can fly. And at second, you have Herrera, who has a little better than average speed, and Chatwood, a very good athlete, at first base. And as George said, this outfield is playing very, very shallow.
Well, you end up giving up 3 and have the game blow completely out of hand. The Rockies this year with the bases loaded have hit near 300, 296. But this is just the first chance for EY to swing it with the bases loaded.
Again, EY's second at bat of the game. He came in the 6th inning for Dexter Fowler, who left with right hip flexor soreness. They're the base runners. 2-strike count, 1 out. Pacheco on deck, 4-4 in the 8th. Rockies looking to get their first knock with runners in scoring position, and now would be a perfect time. Now in the case of Eric Young Jr., when you were a 30th round pick, you've been trying to prove people wrong your whole career. Here's the 0-2, 1-2. Walt Weiss said it early in spring training. He loves the makeup of Eric Young. He loves the toughness he brings to the yard every day. Rutledge with a lefty on the mound should get a pretty good break. 1-2, and it's pop foul out of play.
This infield playing the way it is now, very in on the grass almost, just a couple of steps off. They're not thinking double play, and they shouldn't be, because EY has not hit into one in 77 at bats.
One, two. And now to be left to Pacheco, but he's going to see a right-hander.
You know, Gomes was getting loose down in their bullpen and doing it in a hurry.
So McGee on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball away, able to strike out Eric Young. Bases loaded for Jordan Pacheco when we come back. 4-4, bottom of 8. the 8th. They're now 2 outs. Brandon Gomes, a hard-throwing right-hander's in the ball game. And just a moment ago, Jordan Pacheco visiting at the top step of the dugout with Reed Brignac. Brignac giving him a scouting report on Gomes. They were teammates. Brignac in the big leagues the last 5 years with Tampa Bay.
Well, and again, he's going to tell you what first pitch is coming typically. Where does he like to work? You see his earned run average at 5.91. And this ball club has lost 10 games so far this year when they held the lead. Hard slider, first pitch, 79 miles an hour, but a very good location.
He'll throw that slider 30% of the time. He also has a split that he'll throw about a fifth of the time. Pacheco 0 for 4. Rutledge, Herrera, and Chatwood all on base. Chatwood running for Tulowitzki, who pinch hit and was intentionally walked. Oh, 2. There's the split, gets away for a moment. That's a great block by Lobaton.
It looked almost as if he turned his head away. This ball came in and he just kind of took the gut shot, kept it right out in front of him.
Yeah, you know, George,
well, that ball's 3 to 5 feet out in front of home plate, which even makes it that much more difficult to keep it with what he did.
Taught to bury your chin on your chest. One, 2. It's 2-2. Rockies trying somehow, some way to get that go-ahead run to the plate. Two and 2. Strike 3. Called strike 3 by Paul Emmel.
Boy, tough situation there. I mean, Jordan, hard slider down in there. Let's look and see if it did catch it. Oh boy, that's low. I understand why he didn't swing at it. That looked low.
Is brought to you by the Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Now, the Rockies had a great opportunity, bases loaded, 1 out in the 8th inning, could not get a run home. So we go to the 9th, still tied at 4. Coming up when we conclude this ball game, the Toyota postgame show. Out in center field, here's Joel Klatt. Joel.
That's right. We do have the Toyota postgame show coming up. We'll talk about the running of the bullpen. Bullpen's been sensational. They're great on the road trip. They've been great again tonight, looking for another scoreless inning right here behind me. Plus, how about this? The times they Arenado changing at third base. Nolan Arenado, a couple of doubles, his first 2 of his big league career, plus his first hits here at Coors Field. We'll talk about that. We were trying very hard tonight to come up with these topicals, Drew, but I just feel like they were okay. What do you think?
The times they are.
On a 1 to 10, Joel, I'm going to slap a 4.5, 6 on you.
All right, that's not bad. That's okay.
Average to above average.
Thank you. I appreciate that,
they're
my
hard
friend.
to do for 150 nights. I understand that.
We're looking for a little party out here in center field, fellas.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you'll have one here in a little bit.
And Len Goodman gives you a 4.75. Rex Brothers is on for the 16th time. And leading off and moving around to the right side is Jose Lobaton. And he takes ball 1. 8, 9, and 1. James Loney will follow, then Desmond Jennings.
Rex been a big part of that bullpen. It's been on that run we've talked about with a scoreless streak. Number of pitches thrown lately for Rex. A couple of days off, a couple of days working back to back. He had yesterday off.
Two and 2. You know who Lobaton's backup is, George, don't you?
Molina.
That's right. Which one?
One of them.
Jose. 37-year-old. And it's fouled off. Lobaton, one of the many Venezuelan catchers in the big leagues. Ground ball to third, that's fair. And Arenado showing that he could throw on the move. 1 out. Who Wants Tacos fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. And when the Rockies do score 7 or more, Taco Bell, along with Root Sports, will donate $250 to the Colorado I Have a Dream Foundation. James Loney grounded to short his first time. And he takes a strike.
One of 2 players on this roster that has faced Rex Brothers. He and Roberts. Roberts out of the ball game now. Rex Brothers, 11 straight scoreless, 10 1/3, 7 hits, 6 walks, 12 strikeouts.
Oh, 2 on the former Dodger. And he got him to chase. Great catch by Rosario.
Missed the target by 3 feet, maybe even more. But Rosario showing his athleticism on catching this baseball. I mean, he not only saved the ball from going to the screen, I think he saved Paul Emmel's jaw.
That would have had Paul's mask squared up. Desmond Jennings, 2-run home run in the 5th, 1 for 4. Just off the plate. Jennings, a native of Montgomery, Alabama, originally a 10th round pick. Big, fast, agile young man. He's 6'2" and about 210 pounds. We're in the 9th, 2 outs, nobody on. 2-0 on Jennings. Fouled off. Rockies in the bottom of the 9th will have Cargo, Kadire, Rosario. That's a nice threesome. Off the plate, and it's 3-1. lost him. Ball 4. Luke Scott is going to pinch hit. The pitcher spot is here at the 2-hole. So Luke Scott will pinch hit. This is a left-handed bat.
Well, you never want to walk a guy, obviously, when your game is like this, a tie game, and you're in the bottom or top of the 9th inning. But that might not have been a bad walk. You get Gomes out of the ball game. They've got to go to the bullpen again. You use up the one more man on their bench. They're down to 1 now. So I mean, to me, sometimes there's not a bad walk either, and I don't think that was a bad walk.
You got to watch out, though, for Jennings taking off.
2 things I think play into this. One, Rex Brothers being left-handed, even though he doesn't have a great move. The other, the fact Rosario's thrown out 40% of would-be base stealers.
Eric Young Jr. may be playing the deepest center field right now. You talk about no doubles. He is 2.5 strides from the warning track.
He's 2 strides from no home runs. I'm going to jump up and snatch it.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
One 1-0 on the former Oriole, Luke Scott. And again, it's a slider. And it's 2-0.
When you're as nasty as Rex, at times all you need is to get 1 pitch over for a strike. Once you do that, hitters have a tendency to not want to get beat, and they'll chase pitches. That was an angry fastball, 94 miles an hour.
Three and 1. Got to make a pitch here. You have Zobrist on deck. Yanked foul. Slider or heater, George?
Well, I think, and I'm going to answer this question. I hope you don't take it vaguely. It's what pitch I feel right now I can consistently throw for a strike. If it's the slider, he showed that trying to throw a 1-0 slider. So if it is the slider, trust it, believe it, and throw it.
Three and 2. Fastball, and it's fouled off over the third base dugout, out of play. In the air to center field. Eric Young has it. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Rockies looking for 1 run. 4-4 ball game. Carlos Gonzalez will lead it off. If necessary, Kadire and Rosario to follow. Here we go, bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies looking for 1 run. It's a 4-4 affair. Carlos Gonzalez, who's 1 for 4, will lead it off. 37-year-old veteran Kyle Farnsworth will be on the hill. And Farnsworth, who has a pretty distinguished resume in the game, one of the harder throwers in his prime, has had a rough go so far this year. Righties against Farnsworth hitting .368, lefties hitting .400, 2 for 5. And Farnsworth, listen to this. This is a guy who used to strike out a lot of folks. He's generated just 1 swing and miss against his fastball in 74 pitches this year. He's only had 4 swings and misses against him all season long, any pitch. So a struggling Kyle Farnsworth here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And that fastball at 90 high, ball 1. Cargo limps out of the box.
Farnsworth, one of those guys that could run it in triple digits as a young pitcher. He's gotten farther along in his career. You'll see a lot of off-speed stuff, as this was here. He's fouled that off that front shin guard.
Cargo drives it to left field pretty deep. And it's caught on the warning track by Kelly Johnson. He got the crowd out of their seats. A crowd of more than 30,000 on a Friday night.
Sharply hit to left field and slicing. If not out of the park, you're thinking possibly an opportunity for a double and over their head, but didn't happen as Kelly Johnson went back on the baseball and made a catch.
Farnsworth has given up runs in each of his last 2 appearances. Here's Kadire. Two-run home run in the first inning for Kadire.
That seems like a while back, but Kadire knew it when it left the bat. Dead center.
Off the plate with that slider. It's 1-2. Big, strong man, 6'4" and 235 pounds. Kyle Farnsworth out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Cubs, Yankees, Rays, Royals, Tigers.
He pitched for Atlanta also.
51 losses. You're gonna lose, if you've lost that many in relief, you've been good. You've been around a long time.
Well, the other guy at the top of that list with the most losses among active relievers is going to spend a long, going to be in the Hall of Fame. Mariano Rivera,
first ballot.
613 or 14 now, Doug.
Three and 2 on Kadire with 1 out. Foul tip, held, 2 gone.
Well, to Mike Shaw Super, you can watch this cutter right at the very end. Just dip enough to get under the bat of Michael Kadire for the strikeout.
2 outs, nobody on, bottom of 9. And Willeen Rosario is at the plate. Matt Belisle is throwing in the Rockies' pen. Today, George, by the way, the second time we've seen Walt work it a little differently than you've seen a lot of teams do in the past. You know, even game at home, the closer always throws the top of the ninth. Walt has so much confidence in Rex Brothers. He's asked him to do that, and he's done it successfully a couple of times.
And now, if the game stays tied, Belisle's throwing out in the bullpen right now versus Betancourt. But that is a confidence factor when you've thrown up that many innings of shutout baseball. He feels as there's a number of guys that can throw that inning for him.
1-0. High 2-0. Rosario a double back in the first. Will lean 1 for 4. Here's the 2-0. And this ball lifted to right center field and playable for Joyce. We will go to extra innings on a Friday night at Coors Field. Jack Link's beef jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky, feed your wild side. We go to the 10th inning, tied at 4 for the Rockies. It's the 5th time they've played extra frames. They're 2-2. For Tampa, the 3rd time, they are 0-2. Game highlights: first inning with Matt Moore on the hill with a minuscule ERA. Kadire hits a 2-run home run, 2-0. Second inning, Josh Rutledge leading off. He tags Moore, his 4th home run of the year, 3-0. In the 5th inning, it was 3-2. Desmond Jennings against Jeff Francis with a man aboard, and he would hit one out over the outstretched glove of Eric Young to put Tampa ahead 4-3. Nolan Arenado would tie it up. William Rosario at first. He drove him home with this long double. And we've been at 4-4 for a while now. Both bullpens have done a terrific job. The Rockies had an outstanding opportunity in the 8th inning. They had the bases loaded and 1 out. But Eric Young, after a lengthy at bat, struck out against Jake McGee. And then Brandon Gomes was able to catch Jordan Pacheco looking. Here's Ben Zobrist against Matt Belisle. The Rockies put a shift on. 3 on the right side, and the first pitch is away, ball 1. Zobrist an RBI double back in the 3rd. 1 for 3 and a walk.
Belisle just pounds the zone. It doesn't matter the velocity of his fastball. It's all about the location of everything. Belisle very comfortable having the ability to hit the spots where he wants to hit it.
Zobrist will be 32 later on this month. Back-to-back 20-homer seasons for Zobrist. 2-2, line drive down the left field line. Cargo racing there. Zobrist runs well, and he'll easily have a double.
Slicing it right by Nolan Arenado. Another sinker away from him off the plate. I mean, sometimes you just tip your hat and say they practice too. I mean, how do you defend that? He slices it right down into that left field corner. And to be honest with you, Belial has pitched with traffic this year and has done very well. His last 5 appearances have been scoreless. 6 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts with 3 walks.
Evan Longoria at the plate. Belial getting the dangerous portion of this Tampa Bay order. Zobrist, now Longoria. Matt Joyce, who came into the ball game a couple of innings ago, is on deck. And that's going to be a base hit, and it's going to drive in the go-ahead run. Double, single, 5-4 Tampa. And that's the first run against the Rockies bullpen in 34 plus innings.
Fastball again. This one wanting on the outer half of the plate, ran back to the middle. See that late run on the baseball. Longoria setting, and a very good low ball hitter, I might add. You mentioned when Zobrist hit the double, he had above average speed, so it made a difficult play at home plate.
Matt Joyce has one at bat in the 8th inning, and he singled. Joyce has been hot. He's hit a home run in 3 straight. First time in his career he's accomplished that. A base hit in the 8th. He has a 6-game hitting streak going also. Two and one. Three and one.
Still no action in the Rockies bullpen, if you're wondering. Right now, Belial, very uncharacteristic, 6 balls out of 11 pitches thrown.
Popped up, shallow center, long run for EY. He's going to get there. That'll bring up Kelly Johnson, another left-handed bat.
Not a bad idea. Tighten the runner up at first a little bit. Then you have a better opportunity to turn the double play with a ground ball.
One ball, one strike.
Good slider there. Really got on top, buried it on that back foot at 84 miles an hour. Very good location. Not in the top of the zone, but down in the bottom of the zone.
Rockies in the bottom of the 10th will have Arenado, Rutledge, Johnny Herrera. And this ball's driven to right center field and deep, and it's gone. Two-run home run, Kelly Johnson. And it's now 7-4 Tampa.
Another slider, but it appeared to hang up in the top of the zone versus down in the bottom half of the zone. And Johnson just golfed the thing out of the ballpark, his 4th on the season, and now 12 RBIs. The Lyles pitch count now, and it's something you consider with a guy like Matt Belisle. He's at 18, and you concern yourself. You don't want to get carried into the 30-31 range. You're losing for another day.
To Dyer in deep right will get there. And Escobar's retired. The Rockies' pen had been brilliant. 34 2/3 innings of shutout baseball, or at least earned runs allowed. There were 3 unearned runs against the pen during that stretch. Matt Belisle running into a rare hiccup in the 10th inning. Double single, and then after 1 out, a 2-run home run from Kelly Johnson. Lobatone. One and two. A knock to left field. James Loney will come up.
Well, and the other thing with Belial, you typically see more balls on the ground, so you know the ball's elevated a little bit tonight because there's a lot of fly balls, including the home run.
Breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1 on Loney. Loney a ground ball to short and a punch out. Good numbers against Belial, 5 for 10. Nice play, Jordan Pacheco will go to the bag himself. Rockies have work to do. 3 runs in the inning against Belial. As we go to the bottom of the 10th inning, the Rays ahead 7-4. Looks like a 5-year-old at dinner with crayons. Sam Fuld now in left field for Kelly Johnson defensively. And the Tampa closer, Fernando Rodney, 36-year-old Dominican, is on the bump. He was tremendous a year ago. In fact, he finished 5th in the American League in the Cy Young voting, won by his teammate David Price. This year, he's had an uneven start.
He has had a very uneven start for his standards. The big thing that jumps out at you for a closer in 8 2/3, 7 walks is a very high number. And Arenado will get the first shot, then Rutledge will follow. And then Johnny Herrera or Wheeler or Bregnac, depending on if maybe that situation rises where you could hit a ball out of the ballpark and win it. Nolan Arenado will be first in line to give it a shot.
Rodney last year with 48 saves. 3 this year. So here we go, Arenado. A couple of doubles tonight at 4 trips. He drove in the tying run to make it 4-4 back in the 5th inning. Ball 1. If the Rockies are unable to climb out of this deficit here in the 10th, I think they'll probably lament that 8th inning, the missed opportunity with the bases loaded and 1 out.
And speed at the plate.
And a base hit for Arenado. Good start. Nolan with his second 3-hit ball game this week. An pretty good opening act for Nolan Arenado in his first taste of the bigs.
And how about all the defensive plays at third we've seen here at the ballpark? Fastball away, didn't try to do too much with it, shot it through the right side.
Rutledge has 2 more hits tonight. He had 3 on Wednesday. But once again, Rodney will not have a 1-2-3 outing at the very least. Rockies hope to obviously produce the improbable, but he hasn't had a clean inning yet this year.
9 games have been scored upon at 3 of the 9. Pretty close to a quick pitch by Rodney. Meaning if you don't come completely set for that split second, it could be deceiving the runner, deceiving the hitter. Some guys do a quick pitch, but Rodney sets his hands there. Plenty of time that time.
Down the line, it's gloved by Longoria. They get the force at second. That's why Evan Longoria has some gold gloves in his house.
A smart player too. Late in the game, you're up 3. I don't care. Going to play close to the line. I'll give you the single, not the double. The backhand. Second time he's done this in the ball game. It's all about reaction. Just a quick little backhand and a snap throw to second base. No chance of getting Rutledge at first.
Strike on Johnny. Johnny 1 for 3 and a walk. He had a big hit in that 8th inning. Rutledge had a single with 1 out. Johnny with a single to left center was first and third. Tulowitzki pinch hit, and Joe Madden did the unconventional. He walked him to push Herrera to second and load the bases. But his bullpen got a couple of strikeouts. The Rockies could not break the tie. 2 strikes on Herrera. Brignac in the on-deck circle. Strike 3 on Herrera, 2 outs.
Painted him up. I mean, every pitch he threw to Johnny that was called a strike.
It's high.
Had a ton of movement, and it was high. I mean, even the strike zone said it was high.
So the former Ray, Reed Brignac, will step up, trying to keep the inning alive, trying to keep the night alive for the Rockies. 7-4 in the bottom of the 10th. Two-strike count on Brignac.
you can anticipate something moving away and down, meaning either that split finger or that wiffle ball type changeup he threw a minute ago to strike out Herrera.
This ball is lined to right. It's a base hit. So the Rockies will get the time run up in Eric Young.
We've seen the power from the left side for Young. Fastball, much like what he threw to Johnny, high up into the strike zone. Ringneck not going to let this one get by. Line drive, base hit to right field. EY's got a chance after striking out with one out and the bases loaded to do a little damage here and carry it into the other part of that Rockies lineup of Pacheco, Gonzalez, Kadire, Rosario, and have a chance to the long ball jump out at you.
I'm still surprised, George, how shallow Desmond Jennings is playing, especially given the situation with a 3-run lead.
For me,
you don't want a ball over your head here.
No,
they're playing him like he's Juan Pierre. You know, we love Juan. It's not a knock on Juan. Juan doesn't hit it over your head often. This kid can. And now moving up is Brignac.
The Rockies can come up with a hit. It'd be their first with runners in scoring position tonight. They're 0 for 8. I can see that change.
Pacheco's on deck. 2-0. Rutledge a base hit. Or excuse me, Rutledge reached on a fielder's choice after the hit by Arenado. 2-1. 3-1.
We talked about Rodney's opportunity to get a walk. I mean, he's got 7 now in 9+ innings. So you know, this is a guy typically a strike thrower, which closers usually are. He has struggled to keep the ball over the plate this year consistently.
The 3-1. He went changeup on 3-1, and it's 3-2. Joe Madden has been forced to use every pitcher in his bullpen save Cesar Ramos. Three and 2. Big chopper that's going to go foul. Rodney worked in the WBC. By teams, fewest saves in the American League. And that's an odd stat sometimes because Houston's struggling. We understand that. Oakland's been terrific. They have only 3 saves. And Tampa Bay, you know, has been around 500. They come in 12 and 15.
Well, when you win 12-6, there's not many save situations in the ninth. That's why. Not a lot of one-run ball games.
3-2 again. One of the things you got to love about this team, they don't cash it in.
They're not going to hand you a win, I can tell you that. I mean, you get them down, that doesn't mean they're going to lay down. They're going to come back at you with everything they have. You know, if your speed is your weapon, they're going to try to utilize that, utilize the power, utilize what they have.
3-2. a swing. And that's the ball game. So in 10 innings, Tampa Bay outlasts the Rockies 7-4 to win the first of 3 here in Denver. Let's take a look if he went around or if it was he didn't indicate foul tip. Let's see if he went. Yeah, he did. That's a fair call. So once again, the final score 7-4. Tampa wins it in 10 innings. Tonight's Jimmy John's Freaky Pass delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. 1 run already in the 10th. Kelly Johnson, with a man aboard, would hit a breaking ball to right center field over the wall and into the bullpen. And that gave Tampa the 3-run separation. Visit JimmyJohns.com to find a location near you. So Tampa in 10 innings wins in extra frames for the first time this year. The Rockies fall to 2-3 in extra innings, 17-12 overall. 7-4 the final. The Toyota postgame show is up next from center field.